First of all, thank you for
So,
having me, Sana. Yeah, it's a pleasure answering your questions in this interview. And I appreciate that wisdom is the interest of thinkers and writers like you, prestigious thinkers and writers like you, and your colleagues, of course. Well, if I define, wisdom, then it's doing the right thing on the right way in the right time.
mm,
And we cannot reach this state of wisdom of doing the right thing on the right time and the right way unless we are doing previous exercises like change management. It's my background. I
mm,
came from change management background. You can find my book on Amazon.com, Barnes& Noble Author House. It is registered in the Library of American Congress as a new methodology for change management. After doing a lot of exercises, a lot of consultancies in the field of change management, I found myself compelled to do the foresight exercise. This is
mm.
your area of interest, I think.
Yeah.
Doing the foresight exercise and trend mapping and knowing about the future, being informed about the future, is essential for change management, for orientation, especially strategic orientation. This led me to wisdom. Wisdom not as the philosophical concept that so many things around the world. I'm not the first one who dealt with wisdom, but this time I found myself compelled to go through two tracks. The first one is to put wisdom into action,
Mm,
to put wisdom into practice. Real wisdom in everyday life. And through this interview, we'll speak a lot about many projects that we are starting in order to put wisdom into action. And the second track is to monetize wisdom. To
mm,
turn wisdom into a kind of economy, and we have the concept of wisdom economy through
mm.
building the right, standardizations, the right, indexes that help us, to conduct daily life that is, taking into consideration wisdom and wise practices.
That sounds really interesting. And I also must say that before my PhD, I started a website on change management because I've never been trained on it, but that's what I did for about 15 years before my PhD.
Great.
In innovation context, in cultural, increasing cultural diversity and those kind of issues in the educational field. So always involved with processes where change is happening. So that's really interesting to hear your background. And also this monetization, because that's very important also with future studies. I still feel that there's a lot of futures thinking which is not applied because people don't see the value in money, and that somehow makes difficult to go forward with this wisdom that we could have with it. So really interesting to hear your background. Um, I had a question about if we go further 10 or 20 years, how do you think that will change how we perceive this future's wisdom?
Yeah, it's a good question, and anticipation is a great tool to imagine and to foresee the future. But let me first, go back, 2 to 3 centuries before, to see how compelling is is wisdom and wise practices today. Before, for
Mm,
example, 2 centuries or 3 centuries, people might live and die in one part of the world without being, influenced or knowing any other thing about the other part of the world. Why? Because they have their autonomy and they are not connected. There are no kind of technological tools for connecting people to each other, no supply chains, no commodities that are coming and going. But today, I mean, with all this kind of interconnectedness, this mapped interdependence, whether we have seen that, I mean, in the year of COVID-19, and we have seen how supply chain, for example, has been influenced, and how people felt that this world is just like one family. We are dependent on each other. So, for example, this I mean, magnifies the butterfly effect, and whatever misconduct or I mean misleading, for example, in terms of our actions, any war or clash or whatever misconduct in any part of the world, this will resonate, I mean, in any part of the world, and you can see that in stock markets and viruses, all of these things. So we are so close to each other, we are dependent and interconnected. This, for example, will lead us to, I mean, wiser conducts. As we are dependent on each other, we are connected, interconnected, then you are not, I mean, free to do whatever you like in any part of the world. You have to respect. You have to respect wise conducts. That's why, for example, bodies like the UN or laws like the Human Rights, for example, Council or the Criminal Court or whatever, these are regulatory authorities. They came just to regulate, I mean, the commonalities between us. So if we foresee the future of wisdom or wisdom futures in 10 or 20 years, we have to think of this disruptive change that is technology like AI or like blockchain or IoT, where everything is wired, where everything is connected, where everything is dependent on each other, whether machine or human beings. So the slightest misconduct will lead maybe to catastrophes in no time. So here, wisdom is not a choice. Wisdom is mandatory. Wisdom is something that we have to abide with. But before that, wisdom is not just a concept. We have to put wisdom into practice, into laws, into daily conducts. That's what we are doing, and that's why my mission. In order to turn wisdom into daily life and relate it to material well-being, physical well-being first, and wealth well-being, so that people find themselves in this new kind of wisdom practices.
Is that how you've come to the concept of wisdom consciousness also?
Yeah.
And wisdom shift.
Yeah.
That was global consciousness.
Wisdom
and wisdom
shift, yeah,
compass, and then you read wisdom shift.
Wisdom shift actually
Could you explain those?
is a certifying body. I will give you the website. Wisdom Shift is a certifying body. It's a company, I mean, non-profit organization like EFQM, if you know, like ISO. I mean, it's targeting organizations and companies in order to check whether these companies are conducting their businesses or in a safe way, in a sustainable way. We have our norms and standards like ESG, for example, ESG, environmental and social and governance. This standardization index is, I mean, recognized by stock markets. Now we are building our own standards and indexes that is called organizational wisdom. And any certified organization or company will be proved to be wise and conducting, their business abiding by wisdom indexes and wisdom standards.
Okay, so that's really like certified process. That's how has it been taken uh, by the companies? What
Yeah.
kind of interest raised?
Uh, Still, we are at the beginning. I mean, there is a lot of work, hard work for awareness and
Mm,
for, sensitizing with the, raising awareness about the importance of wisdom and wisdom conduct, wise conducts, and wise practices. And I always tell them that wisdom doesn't displace profitability. Wisdom doesn't displace profitability. It goes hand in hand. So don't worry that if you are abiding by the wisdom index or wise practices, you are not losing. That's why, for example, if we speak about green and abiding by sustainability, so many companies went into greenwashing, if you know. Yeah, the
yeah.
concept of greenwashing is that companies try to show that they are abiding by green, sustainability, but in fact, daily practices are not. So that just
Yeah.
they want only the certificate or showing that they are abiding by. Same
Mm.
thing will happen with wisdom washing. Many companies and many institutes, yeah, will will try to show because they fear that if they are abiding by these new laws or regulations, they will lose profit. That's why I tell them no. If, wisdom doesn't displace profitability, so you have to abide and do good to your societies, and especially when we do stakeholder mapping, we know that if you are aware of your different layers of your stakeholders, then you will go away from that narrow window of shareholder primacy, and you will take care of all the community, you'll take care of your employees, and you'll take care. So when the company or the organization is raising itself to that level of consciousness and that level of awareness and that level of responsibility, then you see now even the customer, the end user, is taking care of selecting their choice. For example, for hotels or whatever, they choose whether these are greens, they are using water in a decent way or not. So there are a lot of criteria for evaluation. So evaluating now, companies and organizations will be based on such criteria like wisdom practices.
That sounds really nice, and I really like the wisdom washing. That's really what happens. But I like the attitude that you have towards it. This is really interesting. I even didn't think about so much into the business world. This is really eye-opening that Sohail introduced us together, because I really like this viewpoint. I was also, when you were talking about the consciousness and awareness, that's exactly what's been going on in future studies. And I think that the great work that Sohail has been doing with 6 pillars and so on, I was immediately drawn to them when I started in future studies. But it's still very hard to get there with people because they don't see this. They like to do this washing, whatever it is. Now
Yeah.
it's with SDGs. And I believe that the same thing goes with the IDGs. There's always a concept that you buy and then you try to make it.
Yes.
And the criticism, like I've had this example in some presentations with how thinking must change. That Bill Gates, for example, there's a lot of money and a lot of great work he's been doing with his money, but it started with the wrong way. So actually, we have a lot of millionaires and billionaires who have bought themselves first, like the world, and then they have the monopoly and they've done it not so responsible way. And then they kind of share what they've taken from us, and then they are making good things. And I believe that we should start from the scratch, so that the good business is something that starts with the wisdom and the good heart. and only then it's really like responsible. And how to change that kind of idea, and that might be something that the world ends before we get there with everyone, but at least we could try. But until we get there, there's a lot of this washing going on, right? So but what is the next issue and how to get there so that they at least try to do something because they think they get the benefit out of it as well? So yes, I really like this concept. What else I wanted to ask, I was thinking maybe we go more into this collective understanding of futures wisdom. So what are you already doing with this cert, uh, certific- certified process? It's that you are raising the awareness, and you try to get more companies involved with it. But how do you see this collective aspect of this futures wisdom? How can we multiply these actions and the wisdom that comes with it?
Yeah. Look, Sana, whether we like it or not, we are global citizens. Even if we
Mm,
don't have the passport for global citizen, even if we don't have the ID of a global citizen, if we admit it or not, we are global citizens. Why? Because I mean,
mm,
we identify ourselves as the sons of this earth, and everything belongs to us, and we belong to everything.
mm,
So I mean, to reach that kind of collective mind or global brain or this kind of global consciousness, you've got to have an army. This is the battle of all times. I mean, I consider this is my mission, and have started already, and things are building up. And you coming and I appreciate this interview is part of it. It's part of the process. It's building up.
mm,
I appreciate, for example, the help of great thinkers like Sohail and Tom Lombardo. You know, Professor Thomas Lombardo, John A. Sweeney also, and a lot of thinkers around the world are working hard. And this interview is recommended by Sohail, you know. And he has
mm,
conducted many workshops and using marvelous tools like CLA, causal layered analysis, and
mm,
I'm using also impact layered analysis. So I mean, using these tools, and in order to build a kind of Hanami, you asked
mm,
me also about the new cohort of wisdom leaders. Actually, I started before 4 years training courses for wisdom ambassadors in order to
okay.
raise awareness around the world and have some ambassadors, people who are motivated, people who think that a better future is possible, that a wiser future is possible, that we can build, I mean, something in common together. Well, you see, for example, the wars are here and there, for example, the war in Gaza or
Mm,
whatever. These things will push us in order to work hard on wisdom and to put wisdom into practice.
mm,
As I told you, you've got to have an army. I mean, so we, and always, your background is change management also. Change begins with pioneers, only 2%. Then we have early adopters, like 12%.
mm,
Then we have early majority, like 37% or something like that. Then late majority, then laggards. So
mm,
let's consider ourselves in the early adopters, in the phase of early adopters. Yeah, building amid wisdom and wise conduct takes time.
mm,
Maybe it takes years, but you have to build it on a scientific way, and
mm,
not before thinkers and philosophers used to speak about wisdom as concept, something very far away from daily practice and daily life. Now we have to integrate wisdom into daily practice, and people have to
mm,
see wisdom in their daily life. For that, we have kind of big project around the world, and we'll involve many thinkers and many institutions, called wisdom protocols. Wisdom protocols. Why protocols? Because protocols are more than procedures, more abiding and more compelling than procedures, and sometimes more compelling than laws. Because you abide by a protocol willingly, not because there is a penalty or a fine that you are fearing. We have seen, for example, the health protocol during the coronavirus pandemic. There is a kind of abiding by the protocol raises, for example, percent to 90% sometimes. So here, building wisdom protocols in everyday life, in organizations, in the street, for example, it all starts like coding protocols, like HS code, if you know HS code. So you name first the protocol, then you give it a code, then you make the description and make the ERP of the protocol. So we'll have plenty, maybe millions of cards like these, showing people the right conduct, like protocol, for example. When we come to this collective, awareness that you have asked about, this could be, done through this coming technology, that the AI. And last week I have spoken in a lecture in one of the universities here in Tunisia. And I told them that I'm working on a collective AI. A collective AI. We'll have plenty of AI applications and tools, maybe millions, maybe billions of apps and tools and robots and using AI, yes? So what you need here exactly is to build a kind of collective mind or collective AI where you ensure the right conduct of these, new technologies and new apps using wisdom.
Okay, that actually is very interesting to know, because I was asking you about the different means that you have to win this battle and this future consciousness challenge. So you're already responding a lot for that. And I also had the question about AI. So this is part of what you're doing, and I really get the point of it. I've also noticed that there's a lot of discussion around the technology, and I was happy to follow one of them at my workplace today, where it became more human aspects of it. And I think that's a rising trend, that we start to talk about this human side, how we become wiser with AI. So these protocols certainly are part of it.
Can I just add a little bit about the magnitude of the threat of AI and the need for wisdom?
Please.
You see, for example, AI is nothing new about AI, but before, AI was used by engineers and specialists. Now, with the advent of ChatGPT, AI is open to the public, and ordinary people are using AI. It's just the same as if you are giving uranium to ordinary people without knowing how to build a reactor. You see?
Yes.
Let's see how is the magnitude of the threat. Another thing is that AI has shifted from using symbolic system to the natural language processing, and through mastering language processing model, AI has hacked the most important tool for human beings across history. Prophets, leaders, scholars, and throughout history have used language to manipulate people, to orient people, to convince about a narrative. What AI is going to do is the same. By mastering language processing, then AI will be able to create narratives, to create, a cause and sometimes misinformation in order to convince people like to vote for one candidate or to buy one product. For example, the US has the most powerful IT system, yet last election, most of Americans don't know, the right, candidate to vote for. Why? Because of this misinformation, because of this manipulation done by AI. So it's a big threat if we don't, regulate. And I think on last July 17th, the UN Security Council has held a meeting to discuss the magnitude of the threat, and I think they have agreed to establish a regulatory authority like the Atomic Bomb Regulatory Authority. So it is considered like a weapon of mass destruction. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, that really is. I started my PhD studying the value creation with social media, and I was working with engineers on those aspects. So I think that's pretty much the same discussion that we had with social media first, and now it's just multiplied with these new technologies, quantum technology, and then AI and everything. But the idea is pretty much the same: how we can use it well, or then we cannot use it well, or how we can somehow control the websites and make
I'm really
the better
happy that,
versions of them.
yeah, I'm really happy that you have a background of PhD working on social media, because our newborn baby will be a social media that is called Phronesis. Phronesis,
Ah,
yeah, Phronesis is in Greek language, means practical wisdom. Phronesis, PH, okay, means
yeah.
means practical wisdom or wisdom into practice. So this kind of social media will be our tool, also among other tools, to put wisdom into practice, daily practice, because people are no longer on TVs or whatever, they are on social media, yeah. And you have to go where people are. And we are going,
Yes.
yeah, we are going where they are, in that square of social media. And the novelty in this Phronesis social media is that we are building a kind of circles. The main feature in this social media is creating circles. Circles could be, circle of interest group, or people living in the same area, people living in the same building. One family, for example, people fighting for the right for one cause like climate change, and they are together in one circle, and this circle and the algorithm behind this circle will help them to reach wise decisions using swarm intelligence. So it's a kind of swarm building, so that they discuss and they interact, and they in order to build up to reach the best or the wise decision.
Sounds good. I have a detailed question. Is it more like an extension that you can integrate to the social media that you already use, or is it something separate completely or
No,
on your
it's
own?
completely separate, and we have the mobile application and the web application for that. And I think very soon will be launched, and will be, will be a kind of game changer, inshallah, in the area of social media and the area of interaction, social media, and people interacting with each other. And it could be a tool for business also, yeah.
Hmm. I really hope the time is now right, because I was following the movement. Have you ever heard about My Data? Because that's pretty much around the same issues. And I think the My Data community has been there for about 10 years at least. And there were a lot of these first things that were developed, like the web browser Duck and Duck, or those that were really like responsible ones. But the problem was that people did not find themselves there because there were also these monopolies created with other browsers or applications. And I think we also need the awareness for people to get there, because all their friends are there.
Yeah.
So why should I join something else? So that is also part of this awareness creation before they're ready for these
Yeah.
changes.
I think
Yeah.
when it comes to data, I think the real challenge with data is comes with AI. Because I mean, now
Mm,
ChatGPT, for example, and other applications are trained on data that is available on the internet. And
mm,
when we speak about when we for example think about data and the internet, there are plenty of racism, misogyny, and I mean plenty of things that are not good in the internet. Yeah. So first thing we have to do in order to create, I mean, kind of wise AI is to train that kind of data. There should be a lot of factories, there should be a lot of studios around the world training that kind of data in order to give, I mean, kind of cleaned data to any robot or to any app, a app, whatever. So the real challenge
mm.
now is about training and sorting data in order to ensure a wise conduct of AI.
Yes, yes. I linked to you the My Data site if that's an interest for you.
Sure,
But
I will
I
have a
think
look.
they've
Yeah,
done
sure.
a lot of work around these issues. Like it refers to us being aware of our rights, of saying no to data collection and that kind of things. But there were a lot of other issues that have been built around this community. So it also might be something that you could find interesting stuff from. I'm not sure. But yeah, I think this is really important. There also have been these different initiatives. There was one scientist, a Finnish one, who died for cancer a few years ago, and his legacy, what he wanted to leave behind, was a concept which is how we could use the internet and AI for peacemaking and change it into a peacemaking tool. So I think that also resonates a lot with what you're doing. But for him, it never went to concrete stuff. He did not have the time for it. But he was trying to build the ideas of how we can change the uses of our technology tools into peacemaking rather than personal profit and what comes out of all this misuse of it. So
Yes, Sana, and
I think these are really important questions around.
yes, I think what you are mentioning is really important. But one thing I have learned throughout my career, in order to make sure that something will succeed, you have to do two things. First of all, I mean, you have to involve many people. Yeah, we have got many
Yeah.
ideas and great ideas individually, but if you are not involving and if you are not creating your own army, and if you are not creating the network and let people contribute to the success of the idea, then it will die. And the idea is not related to one person only. There should be, I mean, we have to congregate, I mean, the efforts in order, like congregating wisdom, we have to congregate them. And the other thing is that you have to monetize it and relate it to the wealth, well being, and creating wealth. The idea or the initiative cannot live without creating wealth because people, at the end of the day, they need to live. They need to make, I mean, their livings. Yes, they, I mean, volunteer for so many things, but God has created this world and He has made food in order to, I mean, renew the energy That's why, for example,
Yes.
if you
Yeah.
have, yeah, if you have an idea or an initiative, you have to make sure that that kind of regeneration, I mean, regenerating power and wealth through this kind of, and it should be, I mean, the latest in terms of economy, in terms of technology, and it is kind of cutting edge that people are. If just it is a kind of voluntary work and just for seeking the good for this world, people may allocate 1 hour, for example, per day, or might allocate, for example, 1 day a year for that, but not their whole time. I mean, in order to involve
Mm.
people, you have two things: you need to monetize it, and you need to make it a daily practice that is integrating, I mean, daily work and daily habits, daily routine.
Yes. Wise words, I would say.
Thank you.
uh, how about the limitations? What kind of limitation do you see? The biggest challenges or limitations that we have in order to get this collective understanding and awareness on these things?
Yeah, we have learned that through our scientific research that there are always in every human endeavor there are limitations. Yes.
Mm.
And our limitations, or let's say the variables, is related to how many people are involved first. I mean, in this
Mm.
new, I mean, initiative, and this will bring us back to that kind of curve of change management, like
Yeah.
pioneers, early adopters,
Yeah.
and early majority, and the late
Mm.
majority and laggards. Second, how much, I mean, profit you are going to make in order to involve more, I mean, people, and other people will see what is in it for me, what is in it
Mm.
for me, yeah, in order to continue this kind of endeavor. Because even with God, I mean, whenever people are abiding by one of the, I mean, dictation, let's say, they are rewarded, and they are rewarded decently. So that's, yeah, that's kind of reward. Yes, the main reward for conscious people is that a better future. The main
Mm.
reward for conscious people, and they are conscious about the future and the magnitude of the threat about the future. So the main reward is securing a better future. But on a daily basis, they need some other small rewards or quick wins.
Yes, that's very true. That's very true. And also understanding the different worldviews and how they bring into this discussion, right? That, like you said, it changes from a person. If you pioneering on something, you live with the idea of making a change. But if you following and you're among those last ones to join the crew, then there's a lot more benefit kind of aspects of
Yeah,
it in
yeah.
order to
That's
take it.
what makes the difference between leaders and followers.
Yes.
But still, even followers nowadays, they have their say, and they have their influence. And if,
Mm.
let's see, for example, the world of social media, and I
Mm.
always relate that to technology. The back end algorithm for social media, for example, they use
Yes.
algorithm. Yeah, they use the algorithm to, I mean, give us the way, or let's say, for example, give us the right content that we see. The algorithm will decide for you what to see, what reels, what videos, what posts you will see. Okay, but still, the content is created by humans, me, like you, for like me, like our friends, yes. But with the advent
Yes.
of artificial generative general intelligence, AGI, content will be created by AI itself. It's not by humans. I mean, AI will eat and digest the whole culture created by human beings through, let's say, 5,000 years, and will create new cultural artifacts. That's the danger. I mean, AI will create a cause, AI will create a kind of, let's say, for narrative to convince people about any cause. So
Yeah.
here we need to use AI for good. We need to be there, I mean, before AI, orienting this kind of new technology for good. AI will be, I mean, a marvelous tool for the cause of climate change, for example, if we can use it. In no time, it will convince many people of the, I mean, worth this kind of cause like climate change. Yeah.
Yes. I really I buy that thing. I was also thinking that I don't have much time with you because I promised to be done in 1 hour, and I think this really, like what you just said, goes to the next thing I was thinking to ask you still about. It's about the power over futures and the accessibility for all this awareness and knowledge. So, would you have some thoughts about that? How to make it really accessible for
Yeah.
everyone to join
Yeah.
these discussions and
Sure.
ideas?
I mean, I think before 5 years, I was talking about human rights, and I told them the main human right and the most important human right for me, and I consider it before, I mean, the right for education or right for whatever, the right food, or is the right for access to the future. I mean,
Mm,
access to the future in terms of technology, in terms of whatever, economic, for example, financial, whatever, is very selective and is, I mean, kind of monopole for that uh, by little few, the haves and the have nots. So here, the most important thing for me and the most unalienable human right for me is the right for access to the future. People around the world, especially in the private countries and poor countries, they have to be educated about the future, and they have to be to learn how to conduct. I mean, I mean, conduct a bit of future foresight exercise and trend mapping, and to know about the future, because I mean,
mm,
knowing about the future is the most competitive tool or competitive edge in all terms. So here, in working for wisdom, for example, if you deprive certain countries or certain people of seeing the future and sharing the future with you, then you cannot involve them in any wisdom effort. They will be outside the picture and outside, I mean, any kind of human endeavor. So the
mm.
most important thing for me, as you have said, and it's very crucial and very clever from your part, is that to make sure that all people have access to the future. All people have access to make the evaluation, for example, to see the threats and to calculate. I mean, to make kind of forecast. Let's say, if we continue together in this kind of, let's say, trajectory, where can this will lead us, for example. And if we can amend and change and let's say, for example, do better things, this will ameliorate our position, for example, in the future. So being aware of the future, being conscious about the future, and being there in the future is the most competitive edge, whether for companies, individual, or nations.
Yes, I was just reflecting on that while we're talking. That is it actually that if I would what I would take out of our discussion also and from the last minutes is that what really means being futures wise is to give the space for everyone to join it.
Yes, yes, of course.
This is not really well formulated, but I was just coming to the idea that it's something we work on, that we have multiple stakeholders with us, that we kind of involve a lot of people, but many times that's the kind of washing aspect of it as well that we kind of include. I was just this morning watching my social media when I woke up, and I've been following the discussions in the Arctic area, and the Lakota people, the indigenous people who fight for their rights of not mining the traditional fields. And I think there is a lot of this, that they were expressing themselves that, yes, we have these sustainability goals, and it's part of our being that we can have this space for us. And yet when money talks, it's nothing there, and we are listened, but we are not really listened at all. That they are involved, but they are not listened to. So actually there's a lot of this wisdom thinking around this issue, that what is it actually that we're doing by listening to people, and are we giving them the space to act and give they share an opinion on it. So I really like where this discussion is going on. One last thing I was maybe thinking, that if nothing else, I would like to ask you that what are the most urgent questions that need to be studied in the coming years, so that we kind of create this space for the 2030s and 2040s. So really taking this future aspect of where should we go and what should we focus on this work on futures wisdom.
Yeah, I think the most urgent question, for example, for us as humans, is consciousness. I mean, if we are conscious and maintain the balance, I mean, between our mental well-being, our physical well-being, spiritual well-being, and social well-being. These four circles, for example, if we are maintaining the balance wisely between all of them, and ensuring through laws and regulations, whether in a nation or worldwide, that all people are having access to this kind of well-being, then we can involve people into a wiser future. But if some people, for example, are suffering from poverty, they are lacking that kind of physical well-being or mental well-being, then you cannot talk that to them about it. It could be a kind of luxury for them to talk about wisdom. They are, I mean, like for example, in everyday life, they are suffering. So it's crucial for the international community to see, I mean, that all people should be, I mean, have access to this kind of well-being in the four circles. And of course, let's imagine together, me and you, kind of curve in two axes. The first axis is from egoism to altruism, growing from egoism to altruism. And the second one is vertical, let's say, axis vertical, going from ignorance, let's say, to wisdom, you see. So here, if people are growing in both axes, the horizontal and the vertical axis, from altruistic, from egoistic, ignorant position to the altruistic, wise position, then things will evolve in at all levels, at all levels, and things will reach that state of, I mean, kind of wise conduct through wisdom protocols, and civilization itself will manifest in other ways, I mean, where I can see, I mean, my interest in your interest. And this is what we call, I mean, non-zero sum game, and we win together. There is kind of nothing like I win and you lose.
Sounds really good. And I thank you so much for giving me this time. I've used my time. It's
My pleasure.
It's the hour. Yeah, this was really nice, and I had a lot of ideas. So really looking forward to have these other meetings. I actually will talk to Tom Lombardo as well, and Jean will probably join the discussion as well. Um, so
Yeah, it will be a pleasure. Yes, it's
also with
a
the
great friend, Suhail, Tom Lombardo, John A. Sweeney. All are great thinkers and great friends.
that's how the circle is coming together with people who are like-minded. Uh, uh, um, I left in the notes that I will write, and I will also be interested if ever there will be something that I can help with and write together or maybe make some initiatives. So now you know where I am, and I'm working with
Sure,
these
yeah, of course,
issues.
it's a great pleasure, and
So
we need people like you. Strong and well, like-minded, and who are well motivated for wisdom and for the well-being of the international community. Of course, we have got, World Wisdom Summit, and it's a pleasure that you will be with us. And we have so many events and so many initiatives that we can share together and build up the community. Across Europe and internationally.
yes, I would be happy to join you when possible, and also about the information. If you want to share anything, I will do it through my networks and colleagues. So this is definitely the kind of thing I've been working on and will be working uh, my days until the end. I really think this is the thing that we need to raise the awareness and let people join the discussion. Like you said, future is something we need to share, and we need to spread the power over futures. So I think that also why I came to this idea with futures wisdom in the first place, that somehow it's not enough that we come consciousness about these issues, but we also need to create this ability to think more thoroughly. And yes,
Yes, that's the end.
I don't want to take more of your time. This is something I could talk for hours and
I know,
hours.
I know.
I think
Maybe
you as
some
well.
other time you can plan for more, of course. Yeah, just to negotiate and to talk. Yeah, I would like to thank you very much, Sana, for this interview and these, mind-breaking questions. And let's say, for example, they are very important for the future well-being and to create a wiser future.
Yes, I agree. I want to work more with Sohail and John Sweeney exactly for that, because I want to transform the way how we think about futures. And I think transformative futures is the way what we do, and not strategic foresight so much. It's a different tool. But in order to change people and the way we behave, we need transformative foresight and futures thinking.
Thank you, Sana.
But thank you. And have a nice weekend that's starting now.
You too. Yeah. Have a great day. Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you.